it just progressed from that into like really having to buy everyday cocaine at some point. Obviously, it doesn't go after that day like this that you're using every day, but I think that took me, I think about 8 months, and then I could just feel me just craving it every day. Like, and if I didn't had it, I was just going crazy. Like, I couldn't do nothing without it. I just had to have it, you know. Otherwise, I just couldn't live my life anymore. Like, I couldn't go to my side job. I couldn't go to school. Like, I had to use it, you know.
This continued then throughout the school and after the school?
Yeah, it continued for like about 4 years or something like that. It just destroys you completely, financially mostly, because it's really expensive. So that was the first thing when I really started to notice, like, shit, I am using it a lot. When I just saw my salary coming in, or the money what I had for the month, and just in 5 days just being through all the money, and then needing to find a way how to get money by stealing or doing whatever you can, you know, to get the money, which is like you put yourself in quite a difficult situation. I couldn't really hold a job, so I would have a job for like a month, like for the probation period, and then normally they would kick me out because I would just like not show up, or I would just call in sick like 5 times a month, you know, with like all these excuses. So I wasn't really able to hold a job. I lied to all the people, so obviously they also, you create a very bad image of yourself because you're not trustworthy anymore. People cannot build on you. Yeah, the relationship with my parents, just not picking up the phone and not calling them. They wanted to come visit me, just coming up with excuses why it's not possible, or that I have other plans. Yeah, and this you can do for some time, but you can't do this for years with your family. They had this feeling like, okay, he is young, he wants to like do his own thing, he doesn't want to be so much with his parents, like, so I think they were filling those things in for themselves, like why I was behaving like how I was, that I was like a young adult that wanted to be like free. And yeah, I was just a master manipulator and master liar. Like, I would just sometimes like spend the whole evening on cocaine, just thinking about like what excuse I can use not to go to work, or what excuse I can say for, and with what evidence I would back that story up. And at some point you're just living in your own bubble of lies. And yeah, now still when I speak about it also with you or with like other people, it's like madness, you know, when you think about it. Like, how could I live like that? Like, there's no human being that can keep living like that, you know. Like, at some point it's
When we first met, you told me something very interesting, that the first lie was to yourself and then to the others.
uh, yeah, yeah. You to yourself, you lie constantly. Like, the first big lie that I had to myself is throughout my education in college, which was 4 years. I could see myself progressing with my addiction, like that it was like getting worse. And I would always say to myself, okay, but you know, I'm a student now. So I'm living that student kind of partying lifestyle. But when I get my diploma and I will start to work, it will be a reason for me to stop. But yeah, it was just bullshit. You know, like, it's just something that you say to yourself to like justify your lie, like why you don't have to stop now. So there was always something that I could come up with why I knew I had to stop eventually, but right now was never the good moment. So there was always something what I said to myself, like, no, because I didn't sleep good for a couple of days. So once I got like my sleeping rhythm back, then I can stop. Yeah, every night laying in bed and saying like, okay, but tomorrow I will go to the gym or I will go work out and I will stop. I will go live a healthy lifestyle. Yeah, I don't know how many times I have said that to myself, thousands of times.
Did people around you, like relationships, girlfriends, parents, try to help you?
No, because I wasn't really letting anybody in at that point in my life.
The reason I'm asking you is because many people who will see this video try to help a person in their environment, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their husband, wife, their son, their daughter.
Yeah.
And many people call me to ask me, how can I help? One thing that they tell me is that this person does not let me anywhere near him or near her. They don't
Yeah.
want help. So if you can share from your side to these people, what would you recommend to them? You know, there are people who try to help someone who is in a position like you were at that time, you know, that you say the lies, you keep everybody away, and you.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to them?
Well, I would recommend the people, if the person keeps lying about it, like there's not much what you can do, but what you can do is like, okay, if he's not being honest to you, he or she, or doesn't want any help, that's fine, but then you'd also really not give them any help. So don't support them financially, don't help them out with certain things. Then okay, if they really want to fix it all themselves, then let them fix it themselves, because it doesn't go well for a long time. Like, I can speak from experience that at some point I had to accept help from my parents. Also, mainly the reason that at some point they just gave me an ultimatum, like, listen, we know that there's something going on. They confronted me with it. They actually did some kind of like intervention. So my father and my mom, they just confronted me with what they had seen. And in that intervention, they just explained to me like what it was doing to them, what kind of impact it had on them, my behavior, and how worried they are every night about me, which made me open up a little bit more. Yeah, they just gave me an ultimatum, like, if you are not willing to let us help you or to get help from somewhere, we're out of your life. Like, we have to take then a complete step back and take our hands off you.
Did that help you?
Yes.
Yeah, because many parents, or especially parents, say, well, you know, but on one hand, I don't want to help give him money or give her money to buy more drugs. On the other hand, if I stop helping them, they will go out and it will be worse. They will do even worse things. They will go to steal. They will go to do other things. And I say, well, they will do it anyway. If you keep supporting them, there will be a point that you cannot support them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And what I also say is, who knows that they're not already doing those things? So maybe you are giving him money, but without you knowing, he is already stealing, or he is already coming to the places where he does things, or where he steals, or you don't know. Normally, when people get to a certain point, they are already that far that doesn't really make sense. Like, it's not like because you stop giving them money, it's what you're basically doing as a parent, is what my parents also did, is if you keep giving me money, you just keep my addiction instead. What you're doing is, you are, obviously they're not the reason why I started using, but for some time they enabled me. They made sure that I had money to be able to buy drugs, even though I lied about what I was doing with the money. But like, if you give somebody that you know is an addict money, like, he's going to buy drugs from it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so for me, like, at that time I was very angry with my parents, but it was the best thing that they could have ever done. And also, my parents found that also very difficult, to pull their hands off me and to say like, okay, it's enough. And it was also because they did it because they also got advised that from somebody in the Netherlands, that's the best way how to do it, because you're giving them money and you hope that then they don't have to go out on the street to do certain things. But if you give them, the end result will be the same.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like, yeah.
So the correct approach then is to give them your love, not say, okay, I'm closing the door, I don't want to know you, but to say, look, I love you, I want to care for you, I will help you if you want to go to a center to get out of it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to support your habit. I'm not going to be, like
Yeah.
what you said, an ultimatum, that, okay,
Yeah.
this is the limit. And if you want help,
Yeah.
I'm here to help you, but I will help you to get out of it, not to get more in. Otherwise, forget about it. And then this strict
Yeah.
love, not just love, a strict love gets somewhere.
Exactly. And also, if I could give one tip, is what a mistake that I made with my parents also is that, so you just go like 2 days a week to some place, they give you like some courses, and you get like drug tested. I don't know what is the name exactly at the moment, but it's you don't go into a center, so you just go and you have like a therapist where you speak
A
with
counseling, counseling or therapy.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of
And
that.
for me,
Come here once a week and they go and they
yeah,
do some therapy and they talk and this and
yeah, and
that.
it's just a waste of time. You go there, you talk with them, and you say, oh yeah, no, everything is good, and once you go out of that room, you go use. Like there is no like control or anything, you know. It's like it
You know,
doesn't work.
since I came in Denmark and I did my training on a withdrawal, because I came to Denmark and I did my training for the withdrawal stage, I realized how fake this is. Like, you know, when people tell me, yes, I go once a week and I talk to someone and helps me. And I said,
Yeah,
what? Only if you knew what it takes to do a proper withdrawal and then proper
yeah,
detoxification, all the steps. Anyway, but let me go a bit further, Tim, and ask you, tell me when you hit the rock bottom, like the point that you said, that's it, now I want to get out of it. Tell us a
yeah.
bit about that.
I went to 2 rehabs after I had like accepted the help of my parents. So I went to 2 rehabs. One in both they were in Belgium, because in Holland, yeah, that was just a big problem with like waiting lists. So I had to wait like months before I could go into a clinic. So we found like a 12-step clinic in Belgium. So I went there. It was helpful, definitely, but it was a lot of talking. You had a lot of free time. It just felt like trying to talk your way out of. You had withdrawal there. They just gave you like some medication that you didn't feel bad, and 2 days later you were in some talk group for like 3 months. And you know, you can fake your way really easily out of those talk groups, but that in the end they say, oh, he's really changed, you know, because he says such good things. But we're addicts, we're master manipulators, so of course you're going to say the right things, you know, like so that the people are happy. So
Manipulator with a doctor degree.
yeah, like exactly. And so once I finished those, when I left those 2 rehabs and I went back to my city in Holland, it didn't take me very long before I relapsed. So I started to take cocaine again, and to drink alcohol. And I was just in a lot of contact with my drug dealer, because like throughout the years, that's the only person that you're still like a lot in contact with on a daily basis. So you become sort of like, yeah, it's not friends. You think at that time that it's somebody who is your friend who is helping you. So I just asked to him like I actually heard about these drugs in the rehab where I went to in Belgium. The people there, my fellow addicts, they were explaining to me like what kind of drugs they were on. So you talk a little bit about that, and I asked like, okay, what is this drug? What you're explaining? And so they explained to me about Xanax, this anti-anxiety medication, which for me, with anxiety, I always had like problems with this, being shy, having no self-esteem. So it sounded really good for me. And also they explained about ketamine, which is basically it's a tranquilizer. And I know that they use it on animals mostly, but they also use it sometimes in a hospital. And so I just asked my dealer if he has that, and he had both of it. So yeah, I just decided to use that together with the cocaine and the alcohol, and then it was just a combination of during the day cocaine, alcohol, and more towards like the evening I would take Xanax to like calm down, and then I would start to sniff, because you also sniff it, ketamine. And this was like really, it's like really like a tranquilizer. So you get like difficulty walking, like your body is a bit numb. You can get like a little bit hallucinations. So yeah, I was using that, and then at some point my parents realized that I had relapsed. So my dad, I was living at my dad's house, and yeah, he basically kicked me out. And then because of the drugs, I got into a pretty heavy car accident. Because like I was driving my car a lot under influence. Obviously, because you need to pick up the drugs, or you need to like go somewhere to buy alcohol. So yeah, you're driving a lot under influence, and I got into an accident where I drove actually into a Burger King restaurant, or like into the wall of a Burger King restaurant, and which was pretty heavy. And yeah, then I got arrested by the police, and I was taken to jail for a couple of days, and then I was I was out, and then I didn't really have many options, so I went to my dad's house, but he was very clear, like, no, you're not coming in here, like I don't want you in this house, in the situation how you are, and you can get help, or like this is it. And then I just was like a little bit in a situation where I didn't really want to get help, or I didn't like really realize it. And then there was I was seeing like a psychologist once a week, and that was really my rock bottom when I came to her like how you call it, like clinic or like office to do like the therapy session. And I came with all my belongings stacked up in my car, and yeah, after the session, if she just asked me, how are you doing? No, everything is fine. And when I just,
It's all fine.
when I just came out of jail, I just drove into a Burger King. Like, so I had like a rental car, like a different car, what they give to you. So after the session, she saw me that 2 hours later, I was still sitting in my car in the street there. So she went up to my car and said, like, what are you doing? And then she saw that I had all my belongings in the car. Yeah, and then I was like so ashamed, I was like so ashamed that I had to like tell her that actually I'm not good, and like I fully relapsed, and I have like my whole car, my belongings, like I cannot go nowhere. And that was really the moment where I thought, like, okay, so now I'm homeless. I wrecked my car. I don't have any money to do anything to eat. I don't have money for drugs. So how am I going to fix anything? And I just had this feeling like every day, like I really wanted to stop, but I just have this feeling of shame. Like I went to a clinic. I don't want to like go back again. This like real feeling of shame. And then she
you
actually
failed 2 times. You failed 2 times in Belgium. You think,
yeah.
okay, even if I go, I will fail again.
Yeah, exactly. And like my therapist, one thing I didn't tell you is that why I also didn't want to go back is because when I went to the rehab in Belgium, they actually prescribed me with quite a lot of psychiatric medication, because yeah, they don't really know many times like what they're doing. So you get into a rehab, and if you haven't slept for like when I arrived in the rehab in Belgium, I didn't sleep for 8 days. So I was hearing things and seeing things that were not there. So their conclusion, the psychiatric in the center, his conclusion was, oh, he's in a psychosis. So, or he's schizophrenic or something like this. So they prescribed me medication, pretty heavy medication. And then I had to take that for like an unlimited amount of time. Like there was no end date. It wasn't like you take it for 2 weeks. No, I like one year later, I was still taking that medication.